Welcome to This Explainer, everyone. Today, we're diving into the hidden engineering and mathematical genius behind two of the absolute most iconic monuments on Earth. We're talking a massive journey here, from the majestic marble arches of 17th century India straight to the sweltering, mysterious desert sands of ancient Egypt. But look, we're not just rehashing the history you already know. We're going deeper, literally.
Think about this for a second. What if the world's greatest monuments are actually hiding their biggest secrets underground? It's kind of a wild thought, right? Because what we see on the surface of these ancient marvels is really only half the story. The soaring domes, the colossal stone peaks, they're totally designed to grab our attention. But the true, mind-bending brilliance of their builders, that might just be buried right beneath our feet.
You see, visible beauty is often just an illusion, masking invisible secrets. And in this explainer, we're doing a dual case study to prove exactly that. We're going to pivot away from the highly visible triumphs of ancient engineers and shine a spotlight directly on the invisible mysteries hidden in the dirt right beneath them.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, Architectural Wonders and Hidden Secrets. First stop, Agra, India, home to the legendary Taj Mahal.
$1 billion. To put that into perspective, that mind-boggling number is the estimated valuation of the Taj Mahal in today's money. It was commissioned by Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan for his late wife, Mumtaz Mahal, and they poured an absolutely enormous amount of royal wealth into this stunning 42-acre project. Her dying wish was literally to be buried in the most beautiful tomb in the world, and Shah Jahan dedicated his entire life and his entire fortune to making that happen. So much so that it actually brought the mighty Mughal Empire right to the edge of economic ruin.
The sheer scale and visual trickery of this place is just staggering. We're talking 22 straight years of blood and sweat from an army of 20,000 laborers, sculptors, and craftsmen. They erected a massive 40-meter-high central dome completely out of stone. That is a feat modern engineers would seriously struggle to pull off without modern steel. Plus, it's packed with brilliant architectural illusions. Like, as you walk up to the main gate, the building actually appears to shrink in size. Crazy, right? Add to that thousands of tons of flawless Makrana marble, which had to be dragged 400 kilometers from Rajasthan using thousands of elephants, and that pristine marble, it magically changes color 4 times a day. You get a black shade before sunrise, pink and light yellow in the morning, a blindingly brilliant white in the afternoon, and this incredible glowing golden color at sunset.
But here's a really fascinating question for you to chew on. Why do the 4 massive pillars surrounding the Taj Mahal lean slightly outwards? At first glance, you'd probably think a perfectly symmetrical monument like this would have perfectly straight vertical pillars. But no, the Mughal architects intentionally designed these 4 outer pillars to lean away from the central structure. Seriously, take a second to think about why they would make such a bizarre architectural choice.
While the answer is actually an ingenious ancient earthquake defense strategy. The architects knew that if a massive earthquake ever struck the region, perfectly straight pillars would likely just snap and collapse inward, completely crushing that beautiful central dome. By leaning them slightly outwards, they guaranteed that any catastrophic collapse would cause the pillars to fall away from the building. It's a brilliant move that keeps the magnificent central tomb, and Mumtaz Mahal's resting place, perfectly safe.
And that brilliance, it totally extends down to the microscopic level. Check out Pietra Dura. It's this incredibly intricate art of inlaying precious sculpted stones directly into marble. They cut the marble to the exact shape of the precious stones. But how do you get them to stick permanently when you don't have modern chemical adhesives? Get this, they used a specialized ancient glue made of sira, lemon juice, and marble powder. And what's absolutely wild is that modern engineers tasked with maintaining the Taj Mahal today, they still use this exact laboratory-tested glue formula for their renovation work. No way around it, the ancient recipe just works.
Okay, let's look below the surface in Section 2, Engineering the Taj Mahal. Let's see exactly how they built such a rock-solid foundation.
So, Mumtaz Mahal's grave set directly on the soft banks of the Yamuna River, which is a massive erosion risk. How did Mughal engineers build an indestructible base in wet mud without a single drop of modern concrete? It's like a giant puzzle. Step 1. Laborers dug incredibly deep wells straight down into the riverbank until they finally hit hard, dry soil. Next, they packed these wells completely full of solid rocks and rubble. And finally, using that massive workforce and their army of elephants, they erected heavy stone columns directly over these filled wells to lock down the soft earth. This clever ancient trick created an indestructible base for what is essentially the heaviest tomb in the world.
All right,
Let's move on to our next monument and see how this all builds in Section 3, Mathematical Mysteries of Giza. We are shifting our focus from the emotional artistry of the Taj Mahal directly into the cold, 4,500-year-old mathematical precision of the Egyptian pyramids.
Just think about this. Built 4,500 years ago, a single pyramid, like the Great Pyramid, contains roughly 2.3 million stones. And we're not talking about easily liftable bricks here. A single block weighs as much as a modern bulldozer. That's like moving a fully loaded 20-foot cargo container over and over, entirely without the help of modern cranes. They also feature this absolutely perfect alignment to true north, south, east, and west, a feat that honestly rivals our modern GPS systems. Now, while they are widely accepted as tombs because sarcophagi were found inside them, it's actually worth noting something pretty tragic. A mummified body that was discovered in the smaller Menkaure Pyramid was literally lost at sea in 1837 when the ship bringing it to Britain sank.
Okay, check out this number, 299,792,458. Now, this isn't just some random trivia. In physics, it perfectly represents the speed of light in meters per second. But here's the mind-blowing part. If you look at the exact geographical latitude coordinates of the Great Pyramid of Giza, it sits at precisely 29.9792458 degrees north. Let that sink in. It is a mathematical alignment so completely perfect that it leaves modern researchers just scratching their heads.
And honestly, the math gets even more peculiar when we look at its dimensions. The base of the Great Pyramid is 230.4 meters long, right? So half of that is 115.2 meters. Now, if you take the pyramid's slope height, which is exactly 186.4 meters, and you divide it by that half length, the resulting number is exactly 1.618. Which brings us to 1.618 itself. This specific decimal is universally known as the golden ratio, or phi. It's essentially this divine proportion that we find constantly in nature. We're talking flower petals, seashells, even the proportions of human faces. It was first defined by the Greek mathematician Euclid over 2,300 years ago, and it's an absolute staple of art and architecture. So the massive question remains, how on earth did an ancient civilization building a giant stone pyramid 4,500 years ago manage to achieve this exact mathematical proportion?
Well, the legendary inventor Nikola Tesla had a theory. In 1905, he stated, the pyramids were built to harness the Earth's internal energy. Because of their sheer, overwhelming size, their geographic perfection, and that wild mathematical precision we just talked about, Tesla firmly believed the pyramids were never just tombs. He actually thought they were massive, ancient wireless energy transmitters. It's a concept that heavily influenced a lot of his own later work.
Which brings us to Section 4, the 2025 radar controversy. We are fast-forwarding right up to March 2025, where modern satellite science has just violently collided with ancient, hallowed ground.
This whole controversy stems from something called SAR, or synthetic aperture radar. Imagine this, hovering 400 kilometers up in space, this incredibly advanced satellite technology analyzes the Earth's microvibrations. These are tiny, constant tremors caused by things like the wind, city traffic, or the flowing water of the Nile River. Because vibrations travel very differently through solid Earth compared to, say, hollow empty spaces, the SAR software can analyze these acoustic differences to literally map deep, hidden underground cavities. So using this exact SAR technology, French and Italian scientists recently announced a completely staggering claim. They detected a massive, 2-kilometer-long underground structure spreading right beneath the Khafre Pyramid. I mean, this is an absolutely huge claim. If it's true, a subterranean complex of this magnitude would completely upend everything we thought we knew about the pyramid's true purpose.
Let's look at exactly what the researchers' 3D models are showing. They're claiming there are 8 vertical shafts plunging an incredible 650 meters deep into the Earth, and each one is wrapped in an intricate spiral staircase. And at the bottom of this massive drop, 2 huge, hollow underground chambers, with each one estimated to be the size of 2 whole football fields. You can really see how an underground complex like this instantly reignites theories, just like Nikola Tesla's whole global energy grid concept, right?
Now, naturally, this has ignited a massive debate. On one side, the SAR researchers firmly claim that their radar data proves a massive, intentional underground network of chambers exists, and they've actually requested permission to excavate to prove it. On the other side, though, the broader scientific community is pushing back hard. They're arguing that the data is entirely unproven and that you really can't trust vibration modeling without testing it on known underground sites first. In fact, renowned Egyptologist Zahi Hawass and the Egyptian government have firmly denied the researchers permission to excavate, basically dismissing the whole thing as a stunt for fame. Now, in this explainer, we aren't picking sides. We are simply looking at how wildly this new data has divided the community.
Moving to our final wrap-up, Section 5, Echoes of the Ancients. Whether we're looking at the gorgeous architectural romance of the Taj Mahal or the unyielding mathematical powerhouse of the pyramids, one theme really does remain constant here. Their towering, visible majesty perfectly distracts us from the incredibly complex, hidden secrets buried just below.
Which leads me to leave you with this final, provocative thought to ponder today. Did the brilliant builders who raised these monuments high above the earth actually bury their greatest secrets beneath it? It is pretty amazing to realize that no matter how much we think we know about our past, the ground right beneath our feet might still hold the greatest mysteries of all. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today, and keep questioning what lies beneath the surface.